To go.
Okay.
Looks like we're good to go.
You're good to go.
Okay, well, everybody, welcome to the meeting of the City of San Angelo's Design and Historic Review Commission, Thursday, April 15th, 2021. I have 10 a.m. straight up. We've established that there is a quorum present. We'll begin with a consent agenda, which consists of consideration and approval of the March 18, 2021 DHRC meeting minutes. Do I have a motion to approve those?
I'll make a motion to approve. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All right, we'll move on to the regular agenda, and this is case DD 21-02 for 121 North Chadburn Street, a request for downtown district approval of an exterior remodel, including installation of a new front door, a new 16 square foot sign, repairs to the roof's decorative crowning located at 121 North Chadburn Street. And I will turn it over to city staff.
Good morning, and our applicant should be here this morning. I don't see them on at the moment.
That's helping you.
Ray, are they in the waiting room? Wrong, the other applicant, the Mentons.
No, they are not in the waiting room.
Okay, this, as y'all know, this item was tabled last month for further discussion this month. I have spoke with the applicants, and they were supposed to be here at the meeting this morning to request to be tabled to next month's meeting so they can get a few things figured out with the recessed door, the swinging of the door, the right of way. They wanted to do a little more in-depth research of what was going to be required for that. And they were asking to be tabled this morning. And I wish they were able to this morning, but if y'all would like to hear the case, I can definitely go through the presentation.
I personally don't see why it couldn't be tabled to next month if that's what they need. Anybody have an objection to it?
No, I'll make a motion that we table it till next month's meeting.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Move on to the next case, DD 21-04 South Chadburn Street at the intersection of West Concho Avenue. A request for downtown district approval of a new Washington 4-dial street clock located in the public right-of-way at northwest corner of South Chadburn and West Concho Avenue. We'll go to staff report.
Good morning, Shelley Pascal, city planner. This property is located at the northwest corner of South Chadburn and West Concho Avenue. This is actually located within the public's right-of-way. This is part of the South Chadburn Street project. It's located within the Central Business District and downtown neighborhood in District 3 Harry Thomas. As you are aware, the downtown district overlay zone, its purpose is to protect and enhance the city's architectural, historical, and cultural heritage. It's to promote economic prosperity, encourage redevelopment, and protect and enhance the area's attractiveness to the visitors. We do believe that this proposal is consistent with above requirements. This is a photograph of the subject property where the clock will be located. And just to give you a little more layout of what's going on in this intersection, the green dot is where the proposed clock will be, and they're currently working on this reconstruction project, with this being Chadburn and this West Concho. This is a rendering of the proposed clock. It is 16 feet 7 inches tall. It does have 4 faces on it. The little bracket will say town square, and the dials are 36 inches tall, the actual faces of the clock. At this time, and the applicant has not chosen a specific color, and he's wanting to relate the colors to when the benches and the lamp lamppost and the other things go in near this clock. So he has narrowed it down though to the dark bronze, the matte black, or the forest green. Per the River Corridor Master Development Plan, as San Angelo consistently strives to make the river corridor more beautiful, we can build something that adds dollar value to the whole community as a whole and to each specific development project. The placement of the clock, it is within the heart of the downtown. And as I stated, you know, it's located within the current Chadburn Street upgrade reconstruction project. We believe that this one enrich not only the specific location, but it will just enhance San Angelo as a whole to both visitors and citizens. Therefore, city staff, we are recommending approval of case 2104 for the new clock, subject to the 3 following conditions. The color, dimension, and materials of the clock shall be consistent with the renderings approved by the DHRC. Any minor deviations may be approved by the planning director, stating that we also looked at allowing the director to approve the chosen color of the 3 narrowed down colors to the dark bronze, matte black, or forest green. The second condition is any improvement within the right of way shall receive approval from city council. And the third condition is if any permits are required, they must get those permits. Is there any questions for city staff at the moment? Or would you like to look at any of the renders again or anything?
Yeah, I'd like to see the site plan again, where it's gonna go.
Yes, sir.
And my question is, are the street light, the signal lights gonna be in the right of way, or are they gonna be overhead? The actual signal lights, where are they gonna be located? Because the only thing I can see might be confusing is that clock is so close to where they're gonna be, and is that gonna be a distraction to drivers when that big clock is gonna be in front of that? It doesn't show if the signal lights go overhead or are they mounted on a pole.
And I do have Mitchell Gatlin from engineering here, and we also have the applicant for the clock. Mitchell, do you happen to know if it's a pole or a across the street signal?
Like the pole's
Yeah,
gonna be right.
so the signal arms for the traffic lights will be on the opposite corner of Concho. So they'll be over, the foundation for that will be over on like the Angry Cactus side, and it'll be a double mast arm. So the clock wouldn't interfere with the traffic, with the foundation there, or the signal lights.
Okay. That was my only concern. Other than that, I think it's great. I think it'd be a great improvement.
I think it's really neat too. My only question would be is that in some plan somewhere, is that considered the town square? How did that, the decision to put town square there instead of San Angelo, does anybody know what the basis for that is?
Mr. Pfluger is on the call also. Let me stop sharing this, we can see. And he might be able to answer that specific question.
Okay.
It looks like you are muted, Mr. Pfluger.
And I guess an
Am
official.
I off now?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Okay, well, I was having a hard time getting off mute. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
As you mentioned, and I think David has the most succinct question, is how this clock will configure with all the things that are going on in that intersection. The arms do go out over the street, and there's one of those traffic light arms on each one of the corners. There's also a light pole at that corner, and although it's a little fuzzy in my mind, there's a thought process of having a bench in that area. If I go to the rendering itself, the vernacular on top of that clock, that's that's a production or a brochure from the clock company. We'll have to design something to put in that little space that goes on the top of it, whether it be city center, whether it be downtown, whether it be,
Gotcha.
I mean, that was just, all
What's
of this is really conjecture till we get everything up. Henry has designed a super structure on the corner there on that parking lot. I own that parking lot, and he designed a super structure several years ago that emulates or is reflective of the original courthouse, the Ruffini courthouse, but it kind of overpowers that corner. And this clock was be something that we put in real quickly. You know, there's enough hoops on this deal to really explore it as we go along. They've waited to pour this corner until we know whether we have approvals, and then they're gonna pour this corner, so we can go ahead and put the foundation in, and then we're gonna, with y'all's help and Henry and Howard's help, we'll explore, you know, the prettiest clock we could put up there and I'm paying for it. It's not a city project. I don't know if that's positive or negative, but that's what it is. And then we're planning to come out of the side of it at this time with conduit, and I will power it off of my parking lot over there. I don't know whether, Mitchell, you might be able to tell us whether it be even possible to power it out of the power that's there on the within the confines of that corner. But anyway, this was just something that came up, project. Henry and I've been working on this, how long, Henry? 20 years?
Probably.
And I've just always thought, I've always wanted to have a glockenspiel like they have in Munich. And I found one, been about 20 years ago when Henry had that design, but this seemed like fast, down and dirty, and it's consistent with the Victorian era, which is right before the turn of the century, after the Civil War, that would be consistent with the other designs. But there's still design issues that we'd have to work with as we get further down. If the concept makes sense, first of all, from the downtown historical part of view, Henry thinks it does, and Howard thinks it does. They're the ones that picked the clock. And secondly, whether in the midst of all the structure and infrastructure and everything that's going to be on that corner, whether the clock will be, as David said, distracting, or whether it will be additive to the beauty of downtown. That's all I got.
All right. Anybody have anything else? Any other public comment?
Yes, I just did have one more thing. I wanted to apologize. I said it was going to be a double mast arm at the Angry Cactus, but Mr. Pfluger is correct. It is, there are signal poles at each corner, and I can share my screen just to show y'all what that's going to look like. Everybody seeing that okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you'll see here pole C, that's one of the signal lights, and then the clock would be somewhere right here at this intersection right here.
But it is a pole light. It's not a one that goes over the street.
It is a mast arm light, so it'll come up and then it will mast arm over the street.
Oh, okay. I don't see a problem with that, as long, you know, I just thought it was gonna be one of those ones that go straight up and everything is on it, so. I think it'd be a great addition to that area. I think it's neat.
I do too.
I'm personally concerned, of course, coming in from Concho, from the west, I think it will be probably hard to see. The main value of it will be from coming north and south on Chadbourne Street. I think the clock faces will be very visible.
Is it a
And
four-sided clock?
probably it'll be visible coming from the east. But from the west, I don't think it's going to be as attractive, or it'll be covered with the street light.
Does anybody know how from the ground to where the signal light is on the pole? Because there's actually a signal light on the pole and there's one over the street too. Does anybody know how high that is off the ground? I mean, if that clock's 16 foot tall, I mean, I don't think it's going to be an issue.
Yeah, I'd have to do a little bit more digging on the heights that these were designed for. With the tree cover in that area, the height could depend on that side pole right there.
Yeah.
David, they do know how high that street light's supposed to be right there, but I can't recall it off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But isn't it 20 feet? Mitchell?
I'd
That
have to look to Mr. Pfluger. It's like I can't remember off the top of my head either.
I think the light fixture itself is above. We'll have the pole issue, but I think the fixture itself will be above the clock.
That's all I've got.
It appears that I found it on this next page here. It appears that the yellow light of the traffic signal that's actually on the traffic signal pole is about 14 foot off the ground. So that's the middle of the light. And then the mast arm itself is about 18 foot tall.
Is that the traffic light you're talking about?
Yes, sir.
What about the street light that's right in that corner too? There's a street light right there.
Oh, they're probably a lot taller than that.
I would have to double. Yeah, it depends on if it's.
They're probably 25 foot. I'm not concerned about that. I'm just worried about the traffic light. But
right. Well, I would think it will be hidden. The clock will be hidden coming from the west. But it's a 4-face clock.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody have a watch? I don't even have a watch on anymore. We're really getting antiquated putting a clock up, I think.
Okay. Well, if there's not anything else and there's no other public comment, any of the commissioners have any further questions for city staff? If not, does someone want to make a motion? I'll move to approve as written. Do I have a second? Am I muted?
James Thomas, it looked like. Did you raise your hand for that second? Oh, you're muted, James.
Right now,
I can hear you now.
little button so with microphone. Okay. Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye and raise your hand in case we have muting issues.
And that's subject to the conditions of approval recommended by staff.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you, Lee.
Yeah, it looks great.
Thank you all very much. Look forward to working with you.
Terrific. Okay, so that's all for the regular agenda. That would move us to the division report if there is one.
Good morning. At this time, we really don't have anything new to report. I know there's still that ongoing evaluation. If we were to meet in person or to continue to do Zoom meetings, if anything changes, Shelley will let you guys know as soon as possible. I heard David ask if we were still looking for a planning manager, and we are. We do still have the position posted on our city website. You're welcome to grab that and share that through your own social medias. We would love to have some candidates apply for that position. But other than that, we don't have anything else at this time. I did want to just mention to David Mazur that we, as city staff, did reevaluate our DHRC checklist, and we think that we have a good one that requires the applicants to have more dimensioned, more defining elements when they submit an application. So from your comments from last meeting, we did go back and evaluate that and are working with our applicants to make sure y'all have good designs to evaluate properly.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
So other than that, it's, as David also mentioned earlier, it's very busy. There's lots of things happening in San Angelo, so I'm very excited about that.
Yes, sir. Okay, then I'll move on to announcements. The next regular meeting of the DHRC is scheduled to begin on Thursday, May 20th, 2021 at 10 a.m. It will either be via Zoom or in the East Reception Room, City Hall, 72 West College Hills. Stand by to find out.
I have one other, go ahead. I have one other comment that I would like staff to look at. I've noticed that there's several buildings downtown that have been painted, and some of them had different color roofs on them. And I know that they don't bring that to us if there's not a permit involved, but I just wanted to make sure that it's going to the planning process, even though it's done administratively. And I've got a couple of addresses here that I would like staff to check to see if it was brought to planning.
Yeah, go ahead with those addresses, David, and I'll kind of answer your
55
question.
North Chadbourn. There's one at 11 North Chadbourn and 2 South Chadbourn, where they actually painted it and changed the whole roof and everything on the front of the building.
What was the first address?
55 North Chadbourn. I think a lot of people just that are in those districts, they don't know that they're supposed to come before the board or for the commission to do painting on a lot of those. And then I have another question too. I've been on this board 7-8 years, and there was a question several years ago about sea containers being in the DHRC zone. And I believe they are not allowed in that zone. And there's actually one that I think needs to be checked out. I checked the zoning and I'm pretty sure it's in the DHRC, and it's at 501 South Irving. I mean, am I correct about that? The sea containers aren't allowed in DHRC zone?
I believe you are.
Changed.
I would have to look back specifically at the ordinance, but I believe you are. So that's something for us to investigate.
Okay.
And some of y'all may recall or may not have been on the board at the time, but approximately 18 months, maybe to 2 years ago, we did bring forth a couple of changes to the design districts. And one of those changes was basically any type of exterior work that can be seen from the right of way. And so like David's mentioning, roofing, painting, those types of things, they can go through an administrative process, or if the city staff feels like, well, this needs the board's input on it because it's such a major change, it would come to the board. David is correct that there are times either property owners or contractors may not know that information. And so we have been talking with our city permit staff to make sure that if they get a phone call about somebody asking about re-roofing and it's in that district, to please connect them to our planners so they can kind of let them know what the process is. Does it have a historical overlay on that building that it needs to get a certificate of appropriateness? So we are working through those things. We will work on these 4 addresses and give you an update at next month's meeting on them.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Okay, anybody have anything else? If not, we'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All right, and I never can remember if we need a second and a vote on that or not, but I'll second. All in favor of adjournment, say bye.
Bye.
See you later.
Thank you. 10:24.